Since the dawn of time, man has been obsessed with life, death, and everything in between. In our search for life-saving measures, we turn to our leafy counterparts, where in the Americas some remarkable plants have the ability to come back to life.
Resurrection plants have this amazing ability to survive hostile environments. Most of you might have had a houseplant that dies when you neglect it, when you stop watering it, or when it's exposed to the wrong light conditions. Whilst this is true for many plants, resurrection plants have this amazing ability to come back to life. Amazingly, there are over 1,000 different species with this capability. For example, this plant, called the Rose of Jericho, we can find it in the most extreme environment. The Rose of Jericho is mostly known as a tumbleweed, and although it doesn't look very alive, it can actually survive with 5% of water, and after a couple of hours of watering, it will come back to life. Scientists have shown that this remarkable ability to be close to death is due to the ability of the plant to produce stress-responsive genes and stress-responsive metabolites, as well as sensing drought stress really quickly, as well as informing us about stress-related genes. These plants are also used for medical purposes. Nowadays, we can use the genes that help it cope with stress to produce antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and anti-cancer treatments. So by investigating these incredible organisms, maybe we can find a way of avoiding death.
Resurrection plants have this knack of being able to reboot themselves in order to continue living for as long as possible. They hit the pause button, and this means they are able to survive through some really tough conditions. However, in terms of ultimate survival, there is one organism that seems to be the master of resuscitation and endurance.
So one of the more interesting animals on the planet are what we call tardigrades, or they're more commonly known as water bears. When we think about animals and how they defend themselves, how they have advantages in sort of making their way into the next generation, in reproducing and so on, we think about animals having all kinds of mechanisms in order to do this. You've got larger animals that have claws and teeth and horns and so on. But if you're very, very small, maybe like a tardigrade, like a water bear, perhaps one of the best things to do is to just go to sleep for a long, long period of time. Just go into suspended animation and wait for better times to come. And so if you live in a place that's very likely to be dry for long periods of time, very, very hot for long periods of time, one of the ways in which you can evolve a mechanism for survival is quite simply to be able to withstand desiccation, to withstand the high temperatures. And tardigrades have been able to do this. They're also the organism that we think will probably be still alive or make its way through any kind of major Earth holocaust that you could possibly dream up. They're very, very resistant, and they're very, very tough, and they're also kind of cute.
Whilst there is no cure for death, some forms of life are more resilient than us humans. Maybe one day we will be able to use knowledge of these organisms to cure death.